there we go. Jason's back. You're muted a little bit, I think.
I'm sick and tired of Zoom, and
you know what? Google Meet. I found that Google Meet actually works a little better than Zoom for me. I do prefer Google Meet a little bit more. But anyways, that's beside the point. I was jumping into whole life versus universal life insurance policies.
Then don't let me mess up your flow.
No, you good. So, with the whole life insurance offers consistent premiums and a guaranteed cash value accumulation. Now, whole life policies do cost more because they're going to be consistent, and you get more paid out as a benefit. Now, our universal life insurance policies, still a permanent policy, but you have a lot more flexibility with the universal life policy. So that's where you can decide, all right, I'm looking at my financial situation, I need to pay quarterly, or I need to pay, if I have the means to pay a bigger amount yearly, I could do that as well. And then there's also a rider in there that you could pay your premiums with the cash value that's in the account. So if you have enough cash value built up, you wouldn't necessarily have to worry about the premium all the time. But keep in mind that as you put more money into it, your cash value grows. And with both of those policies, you do get that cash value back on top of the face value that you've decided as your death benefit. So both of those policies give you much more protection than a term life policy, and you have more freedom and flexibility to do what you want to do with the money that you're putting in.
So, Chuck, let me ask you this, because I think a lot of people, and I want to touch on long-term care at some point because Phyllis mentioned it. But I think a lot of times when we're in this game, people get inundated with just somebody saying you should get this kind of insurance. You should get this kind of insurance. How imperative is it that people really sit down, because one type of insurance may not be the best for everybody?
Exactly. So that's where, and correct me if I get off a topic here, but that's where the meeting comes in. You and I, we're glazing over everything,
right?
In 45 minutes to an hour. But if I'm going to sit with you and talk to you about your situation, that's where I figure out what's going to work best for you. Because you don't know.
Yeah, at one point, people were just peddling products. I mean, it was everybody was getting whole life, everybody was getting term. Then a new product came out, and everybody was getting put into that. So I've always said to individuals, you really need to sit down with people, and you literally need to have a financial team of people who can help you. And anytime they're just pushing one product to everybody, then that's probably not the person you want to be dealing with. Long-term care insurance, and Phyllis had mentioned it, was another product or another insurance policy that at the time a lot of people were not thinking about. But then as time went on, we have this baby boomers, and then you had this generation like myself, like you got parents, and then you got young ones. And guess what? You become financially, I don't want to say trapped, but if something happened, you're the focal point of that. And long-term care insurance, do you guys have that? Do you guys move that? Advise people on that as well, or no?
Well, it's something that we can certainly offer. But I wouldn't go so far as to say it's something that we advise people on, because look, like you said, your situation. I have to listen to you and talk to you and dive in first before I can decide if long-term care is something that you need. And you have to decide that as well. But again, it's something that we never know, right?
Right.
Long-term care covers nursing care, speech, physical therapy, rehab, and that can absolutely become expensive.
Yeah.
And if you are not of the age of 65 and you're not on Medicare and Medicaid and you don't have all of that stuff in place, it can add up really quick.
Yeah.
So, you know, all of these things are, put it like this, back to square one. All of these things are what you have to decide, and you can put them on a scale and you can figure out what's the most important. And these are all unpredictables here.
Right.
This is the most important unpredictable, next. And then you figure out which protections that you can put in place. So yes, we can absolutely discuss and handle long-term care insurance if you need it. But like you said, it's not something that I'm going to peddle on you.
Right.
I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to throw it out there, because look, you had that sheet up, that one sheet up before. I can tell you to buy every single product that we have.
Right.
But you're not going to have the money to buy every product. And every product isn't going to be for you.
Right. How do you, because I want to ask this question, because it gets to, I think, some of the cultural things that we deal with as a community. How do you determine what kind of financial person to work with? I mean, if someone asked you, Chuck, how do I know, how do I know who to trust in this financial arena? What qualities and characteristics would you look for?
Now, are you talking about me finding clients, or are you talking about clients trusting me as a sale?
I'm talking about, take yourself out of it, just as an advisor, right, in this financial game. Right. What qualities should a person be looking for in an advisor?
Well, I think first and foremost is care. Everything's about money.
Right.
But
right. That's honest.
But I personally will tell you that it's not about money for me. Yes, it's an opportunity that I needed to make sure that I have had some income coming in, but I'm my care, my level of care is going to come out first and foremost. If I feel like I can't help you out, if I feel like I don't have anything that works for you, I'll tell you straight up. I'm not going to lead you down a path just so I can sign you up and get paid. Like, that's not what I want to do, and you don't want me to do that, because then you'll be locked into something that you don't want. You're going to be angry with me. You're going to be angry with yourself. It's a whole situation we don't want to deal with. So care. You have to, in the age of COVID, we're doing everything virtual now. So we're going to have these Zoom meetings like this, and we're going to talk. So I have to be able to communicate the kind of person that I am to you. And I don't, that's a podcast for another day, because we both see and meet people from all walks of life all the time. And, I've gotten to a point where I can read through a lot of things.
Right.
So just as you're looking to an advisor, keep in mind, like, is this person actually listening to me? Or is this person trying to tell me what I need and sell me something that I don't want? Because ultimately I have to listen to you, because I don't know your situation.
Right.
My parents live in Michigan. It's me and my son here. If we don't get that far into the conversation, which should be pretty quickly, but if we don't get that far into the conversation, well, I don't know that your biggest concern is your son. And I don't know that you have parents that are still living, that are approaching that age of retirement. And so you might be concerned about some things with them. They might not have everything in place that you feel comfortable with, because that when they leave this place, you're the next one that has to deal with everything.
I want to examine it, because I want to address this, because I don't get a chance to address this kind of stuff a lot, because I think people think that those of us in the financial industry, we just make it a boatload of money. It take a long time before you
yeah.
You're not making a boatload of money off of a couple of insurance policies.
No, you are not.
Especially considering that now a lot of this stuff is less expensive now, because you can get it back in the day. And so the qualities that I think listening to people, do they understand your situation? Do you think, and I got to ask this question, do you think Black people in the financial industry, me, you, Alicia, a few other, do you think we still have to overcome a lot of those stereotypes?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Very good and loaded question. I say no because we know what's happening in the country right now. There is a lot of awakening happening in the country right now. And so if you're in tune to everything, you're going to be looking around and you're going to be like, yo, man, I do need to make sure that this is in order. I do need to make sure that I have this taken care of. I have this protected. I don't know what's going to happen in the next 5 years. I'll be the first to tell you, at the beginning of 2020, on paper, this was the best year of my career.
Right.
I was waiting on 2020 to roll out, and I was like, oh, here we go, man, let's do it. I had all of these opportunities. My calendar was full,
and all the success stories, and you was crushing it.
Oh man, I tell you, I was having so much fun in March, and then March 11th happened, and everything has been a little different since then. So that's the no, not having to overcome those stereotypes, because more of us are aware of what's out there, and we're aware that, I don't want to say we need to catch up, but there are things that we weren't privy to that we're seeing now in a different light, and we're going after it. We're going after it. So the go after it piece is where the yes, we still have some stereotypes to overcome comes in. People universally aren't looking to the Black financial advisor or the Black life insurance salesperson or whatever the case may be as the beacon of light and trust.
Okay.
Because we didn't do it before. When you watch TV, you see these commercials, you see a life insurance person, he or she was not Black.
Okay.
He or she was not a minority, and that's changing. But because that wasn't the case before, the rest of the community didn't even understand its importance. It wasn't anything that was discussed with us. Not in the urban community.
Right.
When you step out, when you start to accumulate that breadth and that depth, when you get out there in the world and experience things, then you start to understand, oh, that's what they were talking about. Okay, let me look into this a little bit more. So yeah, it's it's definitely a yes or no.
Phyllis wanted to sort of ask a question. Let me see if now Phyllis, because you let me see if I can get
Is it to everyone or is it to, I don't see, can you say something like, oh yeah.
Let me Phyllis, give me a second. Let me see if we can
just unmute her.
Yeah.
And she'll be able to pop in. She's not there.
Hello.
Yep, you on, Phyllis.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
It's two things I wanted to address. The first one being when Jason mentioned quickly about my accident and me not being able to work for 2 years due to a very tragic accident that I had that involved a total foot reconstruction. I took out long-term care insurance at 36 years old. By an insurance gentleman that came by my house. And I was planning for my old days, not knowing that I would need something like that in my 50s. And the reason what brought me to that is I am a cardiology nurse, and one of the young men had a quadruple bypass surgery, and he was the primary breadwinner of his family. And so he was no longer able to go back to work. And so he had only life insurance that they could take a loan out, but he was like, how do we pay that back?
Right.
Yeah.
That caused his wife to have to come and start a career where she was at home taking care of the children. So they switched roles. But anyway, that scared me to death as a new nurse coming out of school, because I was like, what happens to me if I get into a situation like that? And you know, as African Americans, our diets are not the greatest. I mean, Big Mama cooking the biscuits and everything, I'm just sorry. So that scared me, because I was like, wow, this could happen. And so by me sacrificing and taking out that insurance, I was thinking more of when I get old, I'll have this care, as you mentioned. But I ended up tapping into that policy 2 years ago when I had that accident. And that has carried me over now with the care services that I need for recovery, for physical therapy, for people coming in and taking care of me at 52 years old.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just about, you know, the old people that I thought I had when I could use it. So that was really important. And along with that, it was best to take out a short-term disability policy, because I had to wait until that policy grace period that you have to wait before it would kick in. So I had that. Without those insurance, I don't know how I would make it, because I had to leave work without pay because I ran out of sick time. So I had to use that. So that it was a good investment. That is something that our African American community really, I believe, just from experience. And I found this from being around other nationalities, because I didn't even know about umbrella insurance years ago. We don't talk about that in our community.
No, we don't.
We don't.
And so those are all important things to have, that I think that moving forward we need to focus on too, because we always hear a lot about life insurance, which I'm going to tap into next. Last thing, we need to do something in our community, and I don't know, and I've been thinking and pondering on this for years. I don't know if it would take large insurance companies to do it. I spoke with one of my children's representatives at Modern Woodman. We need to get our young children insured as far as life insurance, because too many, I'm seeing too many GoFundMe funds. And a lot of the parents talk to say that they're unable to keep up the payments. But if you start young, and I don't know about your insurance program, Mr. Lott, I mean, you'll be able to tell us, maybe there's something that we can do where we're raising money instead of after the fact, before the fact, of getting our kids insured while they're young, where their policies are only $3 and $4.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay,
So,
I'm done talking.
Thanks, Phyllis.
No, we appreciate that. That's great. That's a great kickoff point, if you will. So we do have policies that you can take out for the child. Now I would have to look into, and I absolutely will, because that's a good point. I'll look into what the disability, critical illness, long-term care. I'll look into what that stuff looks like for a minor. But you can absolutely take out policies for a minor, but those are life insurance policies. So that's not necessarily something that you're going to be able to pull money from, but there are a ton of riders that you can add to policies that you have in place as the parental figure. So I could have, let's just say, my term life insurance policy. I'll have to look and see if there is a rider that I can put into place that will add protection in if something were to happen to my son. And if there isn't a rider out there like that, then I'm going to have to get a policy for him. But you're absolutely right that that's something that we do need to discuss and address in our community. Unfortunately, that's more of a health insurance thing, and so that's another issue that we would love to tackle on a grand scale. But yes, there are solutions that you can put into place. There are protections that we have that can alleviate that stress. So thank you so much for that. Definitely something, I'm taking notes here, definitely something that that I'm gonna look into myself. And for anybody out there that's listening, if you need any more information or you wanna have a meeting with me, go ahead and drop your email in there and I'll connect with you as well. But yes, we do need to, try to get something in place for our kids. And that's where the investment comes into place. I mean, some people just can't financially do it. And it's unfortunate that we can't financially do it. And then when something like that happens, then it's a little bit harder. And so we do have to figure out, how to address that.
I think Phyllis, and thank you, Phyllis, because I think a lot of times Phyllis hit it on the head where if we were younger, starting to do some of this stuff, when it's not as expensive.
Right.
And yeah, there may be some times, and then I always challenge as I've gotten older, can we really not afford it? I mean, in some cases, yeah, right? Like in some cases, everybody can't afford it. But in some cases, we all know folk who, they can afford it.
They splurge on a little bit too, on a,
I see
they got every streaming channel in the world. Disney Plus costs $12. Netflix is like 15 or so, So yeah, I mean, could we afford it, man? That goes back to the priority thing. You have to order those priorities. The one other thing that COVID-19 has taught me is to tune out all of the noise. I have been, for the last little over a month now, I have been tuning out all of the noise. If it is not inside of my house, between myself and my son and my immediate family, I'm tuning it out.
Yeah.
So all that extra spending, all that unnecessary spending, I could take that and take out a policy for him. And so you're absolutely right when you talk about it's cheaper to do it earlier on, because as I said, as far as the process goes, your rate is going to come down to the age that you apply and your health when you apply.
Right.
I'm a healthy 36, so my stuff is going to be cheaper.
Right.
And my son is a healthier 4, so that's going to be pennies. And so if you get a good policy in now and you lock those rates in now, then you're not only prepared and protected, but you're aware of what that investment is going to be like over time.
I mean,
and so you can plan for that.
You literally can set up your son so that he's a multi-millionaire by the time he's in his 20s, 30s, man. I mean.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not even going to look. That's one of the things that I do with our products is I look at everything and I'm like, what can I take out right now to get him set in 20, 30 years?
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember where I was at, he's 4. So I remember where I was at 24. Things would have been different if I had a trust that matured at 25 and I got, a decent lump sum of money that came from a life insurance policy or an annuity or something that's going to take care of myself and my family at a certain point in time.
Yeah.
And those are things that we can discuss, that we can put into place. I'm gonna go back into our permanent and our universal and whole life policies, because they're a lot of fun. If you really sit down. So we have this product called Debt Free Life. Everybody, earbuds, man, I tell you, everybody in 2020 is probably dealing with some kind of debt.
Yeah.
But we have a product that's based off of a whole life policy where you can wipe out all of your debt in 9 years or less through this policy.
Really?
Now it's a whole life policy. So, that's where like you paying money into it comes into play. You can take the loans out, but it's your money. And then so that's a very unique product. We have a webinar coming up on that tonight. I'm going to be a fly on the wall for that webinar. But I'm telling you right now, I'm getting ready to do it.
Yeah.
Right now, because my son is 4. In 9 years, he'll be 13, getting ready for high school. And you're telling me that I could be debt free? Like I don't have to worry about anything when he goes into high school, so I can, have that time to prepare for college. That's a no-brainer for me.
So in 9 years, a person
or less.
Yeah,
and I'll send you the information, man. But when I heard about that product too, I was like, man, get out of here, man. 9 years? Like what? And some of it, depending on your investment, you can include your mortgage inside of that 9 years and be done. Now, yes, you know, it's an investment, but think about it though. In 9 years, you're done. Come on, man. Come on. I want to buy, look, if I could, I'd buy a house tomorrow, enroll in the program and be wrapped up in 9 years, man.
Right. Yeah,
but,
man. Listen, send me that as we close. Like as soon as you're done with it, because
yeah,
me and Tasha,
I will.
Bro. Me and my wife, bro.
I'm telling you, man. It's I'm gonna send it to you.
Yeah, because I haven't heard of something. I love to take a look at it. But as we close, man, where can people reach you?
You can email me at coveredwithchuck@gmail.com. And actually, is it on? If you share your screen again,
okay,
it's on the bottom. It's on the bottom of that product sheet that we were sharing earlier.
All right.
But you can shoot me an email. You can shoot me a text. I will put my email in the chat box here, just in case anybody's still out there.
All right. Let me. They are. Let me screen, man.
I don't think my.
Chuck, can you see it?
Yeah, I can see your screen. Yeah, so
okay,
go ahead and scoot to the.
So here we go.
To that document.
Yeah, can you all see the document?
No, you just have your Zoom page up right now.
Okay, let me.
It's just the Zoom, your calendar, and your email.
All right, give me a
And
second.
while you figure that out, Phyllis, did we tap into all of those questions? If you're still there,
okay. Can you see it now?
There's the information. Yep. Okay. So my cell phone, my email is there. So you're going to be able to, we'll set up a meeting, and we can figure out which direction you want to go. And look, Jason, the debt-free life is right there above it. I'll send that information. I have an Eventbrite link that I can share. If I can find it right now, then I'll share it in the chat box. But yeah, I mean, you can find me on LinkedIn as well. It's Chuck Lott, but most of LinkedIn is my exploits in the event world. But
yeah, go ahead, man.
Oh no, I was just saying, I'm easily reached. Good. So I'm just trying to find this one.
And you're on LinkedIn as well. So
yes.
Send me all the information. We'll post it. Chuck, man, love you, brother. Thanks for finally setting this up, man.
I appreciate it. I hope we covered enough. And I hope we answer some questions out there.
We definitely gonna look at the debt free because I want to see that. And as Phyllis said, we definitely need to talk about these kinds of things more. So between myself, what Alicia does with financial formation, for all you women out there listening, get involved. Alicia don't know, but I'm gonna do one of these with her. So, definitely send us the debt-free information. We'll schedule another time where you back because I love that. I love what you're talking about there, man. So everybody, you guys got a way to get a hold of Chuck. If you don't, you all know how to get a hold of me. I can share his information with you. He is on LinkedIn and Facebook, so you can reach him. Chuck, thanks, brother. Love you, man.
Thank you, Jason, man. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody out there, watching and listening. Hey, man, I'm around, and this whole thing is about protection, man. So I want to make sure that everybody's taken care of. And again, I'm not going to push anything on you. I just want to make sure that you got what you need, and we can go from there.
All right, everybody. Peace.